Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you've had a good start to your day. Today we have 25 pairs of shoes going out. 25 or 26 pairs of shoes going out. So it was a good start to April for sure. And I'm just gonna start shipping. When people come in and start chatting and stuff, that's great. If not, no worries. But at least people on feedback on YouTube and on Facebook can watch it again. This first one was a bundle pair. So there's 2 boxes on Depop, or 2 pairs of shoes. And it sold for $92, I believe. I think something that I did last time that people appreciated was how much it sold for and how much money I made in profit. So for that specific bundle, sale price was $92.78, and I was all in $30.11 for both. So for 2 pairs, so $15 a piece. And I made $49.21 after fees on Depop. So I will take that for sure. It's a normal bread and butter, like what my average is, but the fact that I was able to get 2 out the door in one thing is great. It makes it easy for me, basically shipping 2 in a box. So these are going to Wisconsin, and this is on Depop. So we're starting out with Depop. We had 6 on Depop. I think we had 5 on Poshmark, and the printer's off, so I'm gonna need to fix that. Need the Rollo to turn back on. But in the meantime, hopefully y'all are doing well. I know that there's a mixed bag of people that come in. There's the random people that from YouTube that randomly find me, which I appreciate. And then there's the people that are consistently watching me on Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. So thank you guys for being here again. Like I said, there's like 25-ish items, 26-ish items that we're shipping out today. I'm starting out on Depop just because it's the hardest one to ship, if that makes sense. Not really the hardest one to ship, but it's the most steps. So when the printer decides to turn itself on, hopefully soon, I'll print this out and then we'll get on to the next one. But hopefully y'all are having a good start to your morning. Hopefully this week has been solid for you guys. And if anybody played any April Fool's pranks on family members or coworkers or something, do share it in the comments. I did not get to prank anybody yesterday, so there we go. All right, now we're off the board. Now we can start actually doing the thing. All right, so that's the first one out of the door. Next pair is a pair of Merrells. So this is the Merrell Moab 2s. I pick up most of the Merrell Moabs anyways, whether they're the 1, 2, or the 3s. They sell well for me. Obviously, different prices for different ones. These sold for, I think the buyer was all in. I forget that I don't have to go all the way in on Depop. I can just go to Nifty. Nifty says that the buyer was all in for $45. I paid $15, and my profit on that was $21.59. So another good sale on Depop. I was excited that we had 6 sales there, technically 7 with the bundle sale. But 7 sales on Depop for me is really good. Considering that eBay did 13, if you want to get really the whole business of eBay, because eBay bought Depop, I sold 20 items. So listed 20, sold 20 just from those 2 platforms, and then we have another 5 or 6 from Poshmark. But yeah, these sold for $45 and I made $21.90. I will say I'll go back and watch like Brad and Wayne's their lives of how they do shipping and stuff like that, just to get like ways that they do it and stuff. And I have a lot more steps to shipping it. They just slide it in a bag and do it, and they don't really tape anything. They don't have to tape anything. So I do apologize that it does take me like 35 to 40 seconds to package stuff. I just want it to be secure. All right, next pair. This is a brand that I don't pick up very often, only when it's in really good shape and minimal cleaning. This is a pair of the high-top Converse Chuck Taylor All-Stars. A very common shoe to see. They just don't sell well for me in my price range. Now, if you can get them for $5 to $10 or $5 to $7 and sell them for $39, I don't think that there's a problem with that at all. But for me, I try and sell anything between 40 and above, and these sold right at 40. So either 40 or 39. I can tell you here in a second. It says that Nifty says I sold it for $41. So I paid $15.10 for them. So I made $18.78, which is my bare minimum threshold, but they sold within a week. So not mad about that. But like I said, I don't pick up all Converse. The black and white ones and men's seem to do really well for me, but it's not something that I pick up very often. Bobby, good morning. How are you? Good morning. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I know that this could be loud, so hopefully it's not too loud. I tape also the edges of the label, print on my roll, better safe. Yep. Me too. I don't know. A lot of people I just see, they just put it into the deal, and then then they don't worry about it after that, which is kind of wild. I don't like how flimsy the sides are, so I try and secure it. All right, next pair is a pair of Nike Air Max 97s. These were a longer sale. So this is 6057. Today or yesterday we listed 8439. So this was 2,400 pairs later. These still sold. They were a youth size, so that's why it took a little bit longer to sell, which is okay. But these sold for $41.65, so still within that threshold. This says I paid $0. I didn't pay $0. I think I paid like $13 or $14 for these. So probably making like $18, $19, something like that. Good morning, Richard. How are you? I appreciate you guys commenting. It makes my job a little bit easier where I can talk to you guys at the same time. So thank you. I don't trust it. We do the same thing. Okay, great. Glad I'm not alone in that. Yeah, I don't trust the bags well enough and the integrity of the bags on the sides. So it doesn't look even on the top up there, but I just make sure that nothing's getting out, especially with the shoes. Yeah, so I made I'm probably going to make another $18 on these, $18 to $20 on these, which isn't bad, but it's not going to be something that I'm now in the future going to go and then pick up, as smaller U sizes that convert to women's sometimes work if it's a pair that is more sought after. That colorway was definitely not sought after. It sold, but it took a while to sell. All right, 2 more pairs left. Now this is a good model. This is the New Balance 1080 V14s or 13s? 13s. So they have the 14s now, but this is still a good model. This sold really quickly, so I listed these a couple weeks ago. Say a couple weeks ago. 8108. So about 2.5 weeks ago. And these still sold for $45, which is great. And Depop gave me $39.11, which is great. And I profited $24.10. So I was all into that for $15.01. So $24 in profit, which is great. Right back onto my average, which is awesome. eBay definitely helped yesterday with raising the average profit per pair, which is very good. Let's see. Next pair is then the last pair of Depop is a pair of Kevin Durant Nike KDs. These are the KD 8, so they're the Ant Pearl colorway. They got roses and floral. I literally listed these 3 days ago. Big size, men's size 14. They sold really quickly. which I was excited about. And they sold for $50. So I was into it for $50. The fees was only $2.47. My purchase price was $15.10, which means I made $32.43 on these, which is great. Not all KDs, Nike KDs, are built the same, so I'm not saying to go pick up all of them. Good colorways, and sometimes bigger sizes do well, sometimes bigger sizes don't do well. But that was a good colorway. The Aunt Pearl in different models tends to do better than the normal colorways from experience. Well, those sold quickly. I listed those at 69, but Depop, because the fees are so low, I'm willing to take any offer basically, as long as I'm making good money on them. So yeah, I mean, I made $34 on those. If those had sold for $50 on eBay, I would have made like $25 instead of 34. So Depop definitely is better in terms of fees. That is for sure. The machines could rip in the postal system. Yeah, I guess that's true. If the machines are running through it, then they definitely could rip the bags and stuff like that. Yeah, there's no reason to take a chance. All right, so that is Depop. We're all caught up on Depop sales. Hopefully you guys have had a good morning. Next up, we are going to do Poshmark. I'm going to go to my email so I can print all that stuff from my email. The first pair is a pair of zeros. So this is XERO instead of ZERO. It's a minimalist barefoot shoe. These used to sell really well for me. This actually still sold for good money, but it took a long time to sell. As you can see, it's 4663. I don't know if it was the colorway or what it was. However, these still sold for $50. So after fees, I made $40 on them, which is great. But they still took a lot longer than I would prefer for them to sell. I don't know if it was because I listed them too high, or clearly I didn't, because they sold at some point, or if it's just a colorway that wasn't sought after until now. But yeah, it's still a brand that I'm still interested in, but I don't know if I would pay as much money as I used to, because those used to sell. I could sell those for like, about a year ago, I was selling those for like $50 to $60 daily, basically. I'd find a couple of them and then they'd sell. So again, not a bad sale, just got to be cognizant of what I'm paying for those. And then I can tell you how much I made on those. So they sold for $50. Again, like I said, Poshmark fees was $10. I paid $13.98, so I made $26.02, which is great. Hello, Dora. How are you? Happy Thursday morning. Today, I thought it was Friday. I was excited because I thought it was the weekend, and then I remembered it was Thursday. So happy Thursday. All right, next pair is another pair that has sat for a long time. So I'm kind of glad that some of this stuff is selling. I'm not going to lie. This was 4950. And this typically happens when Poshmark suspends me. So I got suspended again yesterday. And then basically, for some reason, which kind of, I guess, makes sense, but doesn't make sense. So maybe I'm not able to list right now on Poshmark because of the suspension. Trying to get it off, but you know how that goes. And it tends, when that happens, it tends to then pick up my older listings, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But these took 209 days to sell, and they sold for $44, which means I made $21.32 after fees and my cost of goods, which was $13.88. So these are the New Balance Vongos. It's not a model that I'm going to pick up clearly very often unless it's one of the newer models. That was a newer model 209 days ago. It is now not. So that's okay. I think the size was a little bit small. So I'm size 8. It's good size. Again, like I said, they're in good shape. Don't know why they took so long to sell, but they did sell eventually. So it is what it is. But that is that one on Poshmark. We got 2 more. We only sold 4 items on Poshmark. So Depop sold 7 items and Poshmark sold 4. So like I'm telling you, Depop is slowly becoming one of my favorite platforms. I mean, Poshmark used to be 1 and 2 with eBay. eBay will always be number 1 for me. But man, Depop is catching up. All right, next pair is going to require a box. It is a pair of retail arbitrage. It is also a pair of sandals, which I am not really necessarily known for. But when retail calls, you answer. And these were a good sale. These sold for, I don't want to do the thing, but they sold for $67. I won't do the thing. I'm too old to do the thing, but they sold for $67. I made $53.50 after fees. My buy cost was $27.75, so I made $25.85 on these. So almost doubling my money on retail, which is really good. I will take that, especially for women's sandals. These are a women's size 11 too, so a bigger size. But we will take it. All right. Last pair for Poshmark is a lady that I just know that if I put it in a bag, she's going to be upset. I work 3 jobs, so weekends have been long gone for me. I'm sorry, Dora. Well, hopefully the day that you get off of those 3 days is restful. To be fair, I mean, I have 1 job with this, and I sometimes don't even take weekends off. But I just like the weekends because it means Lydia's home. All right, next pair is going to require a box. Like I said, this buyer has messaged me 2 or 3 times, and I feel like a free box isn't going to hurt anybody. And the 6 cents, maybe, between the tape and the packing paper is more worth my sanity than a potential return because I put it in the bag. This is a really nice pair of On Clouds. These are the Cloud Nova Forms. They're in really good shape. I don't know if you can see that through the bag, but they're in really great shape. I listed them at $69. The lady sent me an offer at $59, which is fine. It's within my range that I am very comfortable with. So $59, $11.80 of fees. I paid $15.10, and I profited $32.10. So triple up, which is I am happy with. So that is going to go to the buyer, but I do not normally package stuff that's $59 in a box. But this is a buyer that I have a feeling it would go well with me to put it in a box. But yeah. All right, so as this is printing, and this is the last one, and then we got eBay, which has 13 sales. If you guys haven't already, hit the like button on YouTube and Facebook. I would appreciate that. And also, let me know how your sales were yesterday on April 1st. And did you watch the NASA liftoff? Because we got to see it, which was really cool. So that was pretty cool. All right, eBay it is. And I believe that I have to ship out big boxes today as well. So you're getting a whole thing of shipping the small boxes and the big boot boxes as well. What's the first pair? It is the first pair. Alrighty. So we use the 16-12 by 6 boxes. And we will begin from there. Good morning, Gladys. Good morning, Cindy. How are you? Thank you for hopping in. I appreciate it. Perfect. So this boots, first pair of boots, actually both pair of boots are the same brand, but this first one is pre-owned and the second one is new. And they sold for similar prices, which is kind of wild. So this first pair is a pair of Fry boots. And obviously you can see they're kind of weirdly shaped and they don't sit upright. That is because they're supposed to do that. So these are the Fry Veronica short slouch boots. And they're in really good shape. However, they do not hold their shape very well, which is what they're supposed to do, I guess. So this is going to require a little bit more packing paper than usual. But these sold for $99. I would assume that my eBay coupon, they used the eBay coupon as well. So I will tell you exactly how much money I made on these. Yeah, so use the eBay coupon. So they were all in like well over $100, even with the coupon. I paid $15.72 for these, and after fees and everything, it's catching all these. Interesting. I'll need to go back and fix all of this. Oh no, I inputted this. Sorry. I don't know. I got way caught up. These sold for $89.10 with the coupon. So $99 with 10% coupon. I paid $15.72, and the total profit was $53.15. So like I said, a lot of the stuff that's bread and butter gets brought up because of these bigger sales. So the $53 definitely brings up my average sale or my average profit per pair, which is great. So some of these pairs that you'll see today, I'm gonna make like $6 on some of this stuff, and then you've got these that's I make $53 on or $40 on. That definitely helped the price being brought up. But instead of my usual 2 pieces of packing paper, this is a smaller women's boots. I could put them in a shoebox, but I already paid for the label. They would have fit in a shoebox, but I paid for the label for boots. So I'm not going to go in and change it just for the sake of changing it. But these are going all the way to Colorado. So rather be safe than sorry. They're well packaged now. That's the first eBay sale. Sorry, that was a wild roller coaster of emotions. Because I thought the way that it looked, I don't know. I thought it was tracking shipping, but it wasn't. All right, next pair is a pair that has sat for one of the longest in my entire eBay store. And I'm actually going to have to go get a bigger bag for this because it is a giant pair of shoes. And that's probably the reason why they sat for so long. So I have these bigger eBay bags. You've seen me use the eBay bags before, but I have these bigger ones for bigger shoes that sell under $69. This is not a model that I would suggest getting unless you're getting it for like $3 to $5 and then selling it for what I sold for. This is the Nike Waffle Debut. Again, not a great model. I found that out the hard way. This was $2,338. This took me 439 days to sell. So not a good model. The good thing is that by that time I had zeroed out my inventory. So technically this cost me no money. So all of the money I'm making from this is I am making $23.60 because the inventory was zeroed out, which is great for me, but definitely not picking up that model ever again. What's up, Doug? Do you buy shoes if the insoles are stained? Do you clean the insoles? I don't clean the insoles. To be honest, a lot of people that I know that when they buy it, they'll change out the insoles, especially runners will change out the insoles to their specific insole. So I don't really worry about it. Now, if it's caked with like dog hair, cat hair, something like that, then I will try not to pick it up, like if it's caked in it. But if it's a little bit and I can get it out with like a lint roller or something like that, I don't mind doing it. But I try not to. Alrighty, this is going to Los Angeles, and I hope I never have to see these again. All right, next pair is another pair on clouds, but I can put these in a bag. Mind putting these in a bag. These are, where they go? On Cloud Cloud Monsters. These do really well in men's. They do well in women's. The toe was stained there, and I put them in the wash, couldn't get the stain out. I made mention to it, but the tread is still in really good shape. So, I mean, I gave the buyer a deal. These sold for, I think this is a nifty sale. No, they sent an offer. They sold for $53, so they were all in $66.44. And after fees and everything, and my buy cost was $15.10. I made $25 flat on them. So not bad. Obviously with those cloud monsters, they definitely could have sold for probably like 60. I mean, it's only another $7 more in the sale price, but if they were in better condition, maybe 60 or 70 bucks. Good morning from Virginia today. Fellow shoe reseller. Oh, nice. There's not many of us there. Next pair is a really funny pair. I made a video about this about 2 months ago. I found 2 pairs of these. They were the SpongeBob Hey Dudes collaboration. So it's got SpongeBob and it's got Patrick on both sides. You can't really see it. But these sold for $53. So this was a Nifty offer. So Nifty sent them an offer. Actually, no. I tell a lie. These sold for full price with a coupon. So they sold for $59 plus shipping. I believe that I paid, let's see. I paid $12.97 for them, and I profited $28.24. So, like I've said in the past, Hey Dude and UFOs are both 2 brands that I am very slowly staying away from unless the stuff that I can get looks brand new or they have the tags. That's just me. I mean, I've seen Hey Dudes literally being sold on the TikTok shop. So I try and stay away with them other than collaborations and like the 4th of July stuff. That tends to do well around the summertime. But I haven't seen the SpongeBob ones. I've sold both of them now. So yeah, that was that sale. Next sale is a pair of Jordan 6s. This is actually a really good model. This is the Concord model. However, when I purchased this, I actually purchased this in a big lot. And I knew that there was going to be some pairs that were flawed. This has a toe box issue where the toe is actually lifting up. I made mention to that in the it's going to go in a box. In the description and just said, hey, just by the way, the reason why it's priced so much less than all the other pairs is because of this. So hopefully we don't get a return because of that, because I already made mention to it. But usually those sell for anywhere for like $100 to $130. But I think I sold them for $59, which again, totally fine. I paid up for them because it was in a big lot of stuff that was really good. I paid $22.49, so a lot more expensive than what I would normally typically pay for pre-owned stuff, unless it's a specific pair that sells for a lot of money. And these sold for, I mean, I still profited $22.02, so I almost doubled my money. I like a couple cents short of doubling my money, even with it damaged. I'll take it. In the box, like that. Perfect. I don't know if there's going to be many more that need a box. But I was excited about yesterday because typically the first day of the month isn't great for me sales-wise, usually. The first and second day. So hopefully that's changing. But because people are paying their mortgages, their rents, their whatever, typically shoes are not on people's lists. But yesterday was pretty good. All right, next sale. Again, another older model, which is okay. This is a dumb decision by me to pick these up, and I'm actually kind of glad they sold. Look how dirty the bottom of that is, and I couldn't clean it. I don't know why I purchased them, and that's the reason why they are $34.63 instead of a more recent sale. So this took a very long time to sell. These sold for $34.12. So not great. They took 328 days to sell. So almost a year. I paid, what did I pay? This was in another one of those big lots of stuff that I paid. So this was $22.61, which is disgusting. So I knew that's why. I wouldn't have picked these up if it was something, but I bought these in a big lot. So not the best, but I made $6.06 on these. So at least I made something, right? But I do not pick up stuff that's near that dirty, and I couldn't clean it. And I just listed it, and it took almost a year to sell. And it is an example of you pick up clean stuff, it sells quicker. And you're able to clean it, it sells quicker. Because that's not a bad model. Stitchlight Pluses are good model. All right, this is a fun sale. couple days ago, if you guys were on live with me while I was cleaning, I told you that I don't pick up Nike Blazers a lot purely because they don't sell for me very quickly and for a lot of money. I listed these 3 days ago. So the last time we did a cleaning live, I said that they wouldn't sell for as much money as I thought they did. And they sold for an offer that I was willing to take. So they sold for $45. So happy to take that. I let them listed at like 59, and somebody sent me an offer for 45. And they took 3 days to sell. So I figured, because a lot of you were on live when I was doing that cleaning live, I was like, oh, look at that. Everybody's going to be happy tomorrow that I sold the thing that I said would potentially take me a while to sell. So these are going to North Carolina. Sale price was $45. I was into them for $15.10, so I made $18.75. So again, bread and butter, low end. We'll take it, but now I can pick up another one, I guess. That's my deal with some of the pairs. So there's certain brands and models that I will only pick them up if I sell one. So I sell one, then I can go pick up another one, but I'm not going to go rush and get as many as I can. This is another one we cleaned on live. It's been about 2 months since I cleaned these on live, but look at the bottom of these. They're perfect. I could have called them new. I said that they're pre-owned excellent. These are the New Balance Fresh Foam Arishi V3s. I think they're on the 4 or 5s. So the reason why I picked those up was just because of how clean they were. The colorway was great. These sold for full price at $49, which is great. So the buyer was all in like $60 or something like that. And I paid $15.01 and my profit was $18.91. So still, really good sale. It's not something that, like, those are the type of ones where it's that bread and butter where I'm making double my money. I will take it. I actually just sold a pair of shoes on Poshmark. I think it's a pair of golf shoes, too. It was a pair of golf shoes. Nice. We'll look at that afterwards. This next pair is another pair of Hoka's. Say another. I don't know if we've shipped a pair of Hoka's today. These are like the colorway is called Starlight Glow. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this looks a little like purple. And then these are like white, off-white on the top. I thought that they were stained. Apparently that's the colorway that they're supposed to be. These sold for asking price of $50 plus shipping on eBay, which is great. And I was all into them for, I think, around $15 as well. Yeah, $15.10. I made $22.86. The LeMay family asks, question, did you have any returns when you started, or did you at some point add returns? How did it affect your sales? I have always had returns on. I mean, when I first started, I had it where buyer pays returns. Now that I have an established business, I am confident in saying that I will pay for returns. It looks better. And I think that returns, like the turning on of returns on their end of the sale. So like when they buy it, they get a notification that the buyer or the seller takes returns. It gives a little bit of buyer confidence that they go, okay, well, if it doesn't fit, they're willing to return it. My return rate isn't horrible. I will actually see what my return rate is for you guys. Let's see. How do I see that? Performance. Service metrics. Nope, not service metrics. Seller level. My return rate is 5.63. So out of the last 835 transactions for this quarter, 47 of them have been returned. So it's high. But for shoes, it seems pretty normal to me. I know a lot of people like to stay under like 3% returns. I get about 5%. So for every 100 I get about 5% return, which is fine. Those things happen. I lose a little bit of money on the shipping on the way back, but I sell it again. And then it typically, most of the time, if it sells once, it's going to sell again. And sometimes if it sells once, then it's going to sell quicker again because there's multiple people looking at it. So I don't have a problem with returns. That's just me personally. But I know that there is a little bit of stigma against returns. Doesn't really bother me. All right, next pair is a pair of Ortho Feet. So it's another one of those bread and butter models that I only pick up in good condition. These were in really good shape. This was the Alamo, so 653 Alamo. These sold for $42. I think I was into them for like 15 bucks. Yep, $15. I made $17.28. So not bad. Again, double up on my money. But like those bigger sales definitely help with raising the average sale price, which is great. We got 3 more left on eBay. And we have just sold 2 items in the last 20 minutes or so. So maybe we'll ship those out. We'll see. But this is going to Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania. It's a cool name for a town. All right, next one is another one that I paid up for in a lot, and I would not usually buy unless it's a good men's size. These are a pair of Vans. They are, I don't know if you can even see that on camera. It's Yoda. So it's a pair of Star Wars Vans. If in a men's size, these actually would have done well. But these are a women's size 8.5, and they took a very long time to sell. This is 4501. So according to Nifty says it took 250 days for these to sell. So yeah, expensive, hurting in terms of things. So they were all into the. I paid $17.57 for these. So I genuinely think I made I made $2.47. So I bought them in a lot. They took I wouldn't have paid that much for these anyways. I got my money back basically, plus a little bit extra. Honestly, when I did free returns on eBay, when I did free returns on eBay, I am a very small seller. The customers are buying just to try on or compare with other shoes. I just do buy returns. Yeah, you definitely can do that. A smaller seller, I would almost encourage that, just so that way you don't have to potentially take that hit all the time. I think that it's tricky because there's nothing wrong with taking returns. There's also nothing wrong with having free returns. I think that it looks better when the seller has free returns, but I think that that's like when you are an established business. Like I have 1,500 pairs in here. I'm pretty established in terms of a business, and I feel like that if you've got either doing it, I think maybe this is a thing, and maybe I'm wrong, and people can let me know in the comments. I think that either if you do it full-time or you do it seriously part-time where it's not something that you are just kind of listing whenever, but if it's a consistent listing like every day or every couple of days and making sure that it's a consistent part of your business and you're trying to make money on it, I think buyer doesn't pay shipping, so free shipping for the buyer. Returns is important, but not necessary. But like the LeMay family just said they travel full-time, which is amazing and super cool. So you ship on the road, not really set up for returns. That's totally fine. It wouldn't probably hurt. I don't know whether you travel and then go back to a hub or not. So I don't know if it's just you travel full-time and you never have a stopping place. Then returns may not be for y'all because you don't have a stopping place. Either that or you find a PO box on a place that's a hub for you guys. And if you go back to it and then you come back and then you go back and then you go back, something like that, then it might be worth it. But if you're traveling full-time, returns doesn't make sense because unless you're there for like a month or 2 months, then having a consistent place to send that stuff is hard. I'm actually surprised that you guys are able to ship from anywhere because technically you have to have a ship from address. So be interested to see what you guys have as your ship from address. Have you tried the Vinted platform? I have not. I'm interested to see what people say about it because I was very against Depop for a while. And then I got on Depop and now it's like one of my favorite platforms. So we'd definitely be interested to see what it is like. But I know I have not tried it. All right, this next pair sold for full asking price, which I'm surprised about. But this was 8163. So this took how long did this take to sell? 12 days to sell, which is great. So this sold for full asking price with a coupon, so 10% coupon. for $59. This is the Fresh Foam X More. So the reason why it's called More is because there's that much of the support in there, which is cool. So the buyer was all in $64.05. And after fees and everything, I paid $15.72 for them. I made $24.47, which is great. So I like to have most of the stuff that I pick up in that $50 to $59 range. That $40 to $49 range is my like bread and butter stuff. But my goal is to have most of that stuff in that $50 to $59 range. Obviously, I would like it to be higher, but that is what that is. All right, we got one more pair, and it's a pair of boots. These are going to Hialeah in Florida. All right, last pair. It's a pair of boots. No hub. Interesting. Yeah, I'm interested how that works for you guys on eBay, though, if you guys don't have a ship from address. It's great for lower price items or stale items since you keep all the sale. Also, it's easy for the buyer since they see what they're paying before the purchase. Oh, cool. That is cool. Yeah, I haven't seen it like actually be run or anything. So that is definitely interesting. I haven't fully dove myself into it. Now, if Nifty adds it, then I'll grab it. But I'm not gonna go join Vinted and then not have a way to cross list over there. Because I don't want to have to do all that work. We have our virtual mailbox as our main address. And yes, we have to manually change our ship from every week in whatever city we are in. We usually plan ahead if that makes sense. No, that makes complete sense. That's very smart. I think that, and again, if you guys are moving week to week, I don't know if that returns makes sense. Because say it takes a week to get there. By the time you're there, you're already gone somewhere else. So I don't know if it returns would it increase sales? Probably. But does it make sense for you guys? Probably not. So again, that's just my thing of like that. That's very cool though. Very cool you get to travel around. I heard Vinted states not for professional sellers on their sites. I would really like to find out if that's true. I don't know. Technically, I don't count as a professional. Well, I guess I kind of do because I have a business. So, all right. Last pair is another pair of fry boots. These are actually new without tags. So I paid a little bit more money for these. This was a find that was a retail find, and I can't find them now. I paid $45 for these. The buyer was all in $116.10 plus shipping and fees and taxes and all that. So I made $44.34 on these. So these are going to go into the big boot box. These are women's size 11 too. So sometimes don't be afraid to pick up bigger women's sizes. Sometimes people with bigger shoe sizes are willing to pay up a little bit more because they can't find them in person. So this, however, is the last eBay sale that I got. Technically, I had another one, but I'm not going to ship it out today. That's going to be shipped out tomorrow. And that was a pair of Harley-Davidson boots. It's actually another pair of women's boots, but a pair of women's Harley-Davidson boots. And sold for good money as well. Those are getting shipped out tomorrow. Alrighty. So that is that. And that is all she wrote. We got all of the packages done, which is great. We had a bunch of stuff go out today, which I'm excited about. That was older stuff. So that helps this shelf right here. So all of this stuff that way is all the oldest listings. All of this stuff is like close to the oldest listings. That's stuff that has been listed in the last 2 months. And then behind you where I do my cleaning setup, that's all stuff that's been listed in the last 2 weeks. So I appreciate you guys very much for hanging out. Thank you for asking questions and stuff like that. We got one last one from Dora. I heard that too, Bobby. I don't put a lot on there, so I've been okay. Plus, I've heard it's a cross-listing platform that worked with Vinted. Interesting. Alrighty. Well, in terms of things and updates and stuff like that for you guys, if you guys are interested at all, next week I had a meeting with eBay this week, and I'm going to be running eBay Lives. So if you guys have been looking for running shoes or walking shoes or whatever you're going to be running, I have a new connection as well. And I'm going to be running those shoes at a lot lower cost than what eBay has them listed at, like on the core side of things. So it's not going to be $1 starts. It's not going to be $10 starts. It's going to be specific prices. But they will be a lot cheaper than what you can get them for on eBay, and they're going to be in better condition. So if you guys are interested in that, I will obviously post it on Facebook, but I'm going to be doing eBay Live, and there's a chance in the next couple months I'm also going to come back to Whatnot. So hopefully you guys are excited about that. And if you want to come and buy some stuff for yourself, or I mean, sometimes you could potentially get deals on some stuff. Like there's a couple pairs that I have seen in the batch that I'm getting that sell for over $100, and I'm listing them for a lot less than that. So there's an opportunity for you guys to get some good stuff for yourselves, or potentially even for resale value as well. But they are going to be set prices that I'm listing that at, if that makes sense. All right, last couple questions. We carry everything on us as we travel, including shipping boxes. If we had the confidence to ship shoes and bags, it would be a game changer. I'm gonna say that if you have clean stuff and you have the same type of way that I kind of do it, I don't think bags is a problem unless you're selling like higher end stuff. Then boxes are gonna be the thing. You've got Brad selling more shoes. I've got everybody selling more shoes. Wayne does it too now. Wayne's doing a whole purple label thing. I'm getting people on the shoe wave. I like when people get on the wave. Now people will be like, "Oh, you have competition now." I'm like, meh, whatever. I don't care. Excited for you to do eBay Lives. Good luck. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited about it. Nice. When does your eBay Live start? So I'm gonna try and do nighttime lives just so that way it gives a chance for everybody. I know that these like 10 a.m. to 9 a.m. things is weird for the West Coast. It's 6 a.m. for people on the West Coast and 7 a.m. So I know that's early, late, whatever. But I'm going to be doing it at night. I'm going to, depending on the inventory coming in, I'm kind of in the same situation as Wayne is, where like I'm going to get stuff in from people. So depending on the inventory coming in, there could be a couple shows a week, or there could be one show a week. I haven't really decided. And it also depends on how well it goes. Like if I sell everything out in one stream, then we'll keep going out. And if it takes 2 or 3 streams to sell it out, then that's what it's going to take. But it'll be at night, and it will probably be later in the week, unless it just goes really well. And then we'll do like one a night, which would be great. I can't promise that. But my goal for next week specifically will be Thursday or Friday next week. So about a week from today. Whether that's Thursday night or Friday night, that's the goal. I'm really excited about it, and I appreciate you guys supporting me on this journey to get here. Also, I'm going to put a post out today at some point. I don't know when, but at some point I'm going to put a post out asking whether you guys want a YouTube video of a breakdown of how much I sold in Q1, or if you want just a short TikTok quick minute and a half video of how much I sold. I'm kind of leaning towards the YouTube video, so I can kind of sit there and take a little bit of a longer, like, this is how much I made this month. This is what worked this month. This is what didn't work this month. But if you guys are more interested in the short form video and you don't care to watch the YouTube video, that's fine too. But I'm going to post out just to see if what people think, say, whatever. And we will go from there. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you guys have a good Thursday. There's a chance tomorrow that I'll either do another shipping live or a cleaning live. I don't know yet. We will see.